and Method as Battleground number 1 is ready to be shown. As we are heading,
let's go.
Wow, we're gonna open up with Sky Temple for the first map. Cursed Hollow and Volskaya Foundry have been banned out.
Totally ready for this one, and yeah, Cursed Hollow banned out is actually a smart choice from Method, because Cursed Hollow is a map where Fnatic has a 6-win and 2-loss streak, and also at the same time, it's a map that they picked 8 times. The map was never picked against them, and Method just simply says, you know what, you are so confident on this map, we're just going to take that away from you. That's not happening here.
It does leave Braxis up. Maybe we'll see that in this best of 5 series to please have that banned out, but wow, we are kicking off with Sky Temple, and this is a battleground that Fnatic is willing to experiment on. Valiers in the past, but also you can't forget about last weekend where they pulled off the Tracer Tassadar composition with no healer. And they just danced around their opponent until they got to one team fight and was able to pull away the victory.
You talk about Braxis. Braxis was played twice, and both of those games included Method, even though they didn't pick it. But Method is 2-0 in Braxis. Fnatic picked the map once and lost on it. So the two teams, we had only 2 games on Braxis holdout in the entirety of Phase 2 of HGC Europe, and Method was included in both and Fnatic in one of them.
So here we go. For 3rd place, competing for that big spot in the playoffs, Method opens up and realizes globals can be a big benefit on this battleground, and they ban out Falstad. Fnatic enters back with an Abathur.
The first thing that we have to watch out for, of course, is immediately what happens around Dehaka now. Is Dehaka going to be banned? Is Dehaka going to be picked? That's going to be some of the big questions here. But yeah, a temporary 3rd place, it's what's on the line here, at least for the time being. All the globals.
Here it is, Dehaka gone. Medivh is still up.
Medivh is the hero that you would expect. I mean, we're talking ADRD bingo quite a bit, but it's Genji that gets banned out instead. So Method not really banning out Maiev, not getting rid of Diablo, any of these heroes. This is going to become interesting because all of a sudden Medivh is open.
Yeah.
And this is the moment where Method has to think, okay, do we pick that? And it's interesting to me because Fnatic has actually banned Medivh a lot. Not only against Method, but it's a Urel early pick here. And that brings us immediately back to the trio in Finale, Urel, Deckard Cain, and Diablo. Fnatic, do they break it up? Nothing has been banned out. So this is the moment where you really need to think about, okay, do we take one of these heroes away, and which one is it? Is it going to be Deckard Cain? No, they leave both of them open. Method has a chance to go into that combo that has, after the West Down Clash, not lost a single time. That is 8-0 now in Europe.
You know you curse and wants Deckard Cain.
Yeah.
He's been enjoying the hero since the release. Diablo, a hero that can have moments where it's too open space for him to do well around the middle temple phase, but still great on the bottom temple phase, which is typically where you're hitting level 10. You got the mix-up of Urel too.
Sky Temple definitely changes things a little bit.
Diablo and Maiev.
Still go for, I mean, this is also quite scary. Diablo and Maiev in the mix here early on. I mean, of course, we're going into the next ban phase, so if you don't take Maiev now, it's either banned out by Fnatic or likely to be banned out, or they pick it on their own side. Junkrat, of course, we have talked about the rise in priority for him, and it is really noticeable here, once again being picked very early, but Method going into a super heavy frontline.
Maiev being up, Shumpi did mention last week in interviews, actually on Friday in interviews, that he feels like Maiev on this battleground is too hard to actually pull off. You don't get the fights that you're looking for, you can play around it.
Yeah,
we'll see if that strategy is going to be shown. Tassadar banned out by Method, actually.
Yeah, Fnatic playing a few games now with, one with Tassadar solo support and showcasing that, and it worked out for them. So they have their niche draft still, and it worked out very well for them against the leftovers. So in this case now, Tassadar is respect banned by Method. Medivh is still up. ADRD likely to play Maiev though. Deckard Cain taken away, and Tracer picked.
Sticking with the Tracer, I was wondering if it might get a Valier, but with Maiev, Diablo, Urel, it's going to be hard to burst those down. You can see why you would go for the Tracer instead. Still have to watch out for the tether.
Main on Junkrat.
Yeah.
Shrimpy on Tracer. Looking for last hope for the offlane. Urel is taken away from him, so Blaze is a good alternative. We've seen Leo against Diablo. You can make the argument for that. But of course, Blaze adding oftentimes a bit more.
He's picked Malphite on this map too in the past.
It's another good hero against what we're seeing here at the front line. Grey main and white main taken. And the last 2 picks for Method.
Alright, last hope. Which side lane are you going for? The bunker would give a chance for Tracer to be able to find something to dash back to if she doesn't get potions in time. Malthael would help out with that front line, not allow him to stick around as much.
Yeah, I don't hate that Malthael either. We don't see too much in Europe, but he has been popping up every now and then, and this is a hero that he can definitely play. More expecting Blaze Oleoric to be taken though. And there it is. Blaze chosen. Okay. Blaze, a hero that Fnatic has played 7 times, 3 wins, 4 losses, but it feels that lately, in particular Last Hope, is feeling a bit more confident on the hero. So, good draft on both sides though. I mean, even more so on Method.
Yeah.
That front line is terrifying. Maiev, Diablo, and Urel. Whew.
Yeah. You get those 3 together on a temple, you're not breaking through that.
Yeah.
You want to rotate on the map instead, move into a 4, grab another temple, try to stay away from that front line. But I agree with you. Even with the Greymane coming in here, now you have an option to burst down Tracer with that go for the throat. I like the answers here for Method.
No, I definitely do. It's going to be tough, I feel, for Fnatic, but it comes down to also synergy and cohesion between teammates, and that's where Method has started to struggle in the past few days. Last weekend in particular has shown that very clearly when the Monkeys were able to push them to Game 5, nearly won that, and then against Roll20, Method couldn't clutch out a victory. It was the 2nd win of Roll20 in this phase. So yeah, decent drafts, Game 1. I'm ready for 5 mapper, to be honest with you. I want them to go all the distance here. I want to see some action in this.
Yeah, for me, I'm keeping my microscope on both Ethereal and Curson. I feel like they've been having a little bit of a rough time, being a little bit separated, not going for the full play we're typically seeing from them. So hopefully that play's been cleaned up a little bit, because it's definitely been hurting Method. So let's go ahead and get ready for it here. Game number 1. Sky Temple is the battleground. A Tracer composition versus Maiev.
And we're starting things up to the left side with Fnatic. Mena on Junkrat in this game. We're seeing Breeze von Murden gonna hit those Storm Bolts. Shrimpy, of course, on Tracer as expected with the auto attack, trying to be mobile. We're seeing Deckard Cain played by Smexy and Blaze played by Last Hope.
On the right side of Sky Temple, it is Team Method. ADRD coming in here with the Maiev. Bad Benny will be playing the main tank as Bad Benny. We'll be playing Diablo. Gonna have Ethereal on Urel, Curson on Whitemane, and Nick on Greymane.
I just also want to emphasize again that it's a good strategy on Method's part to take Urel away from Fnatic, because Last Hope has been playing that hero a lot more, but I feel we never really talked about how powerful he actually is on that hero in terms of numbers. If you look at Last Hope as a Urel player, they played the hero 17 times, and out of those 17 games, Last Hope was able to win 14. Wow. Only lost 3. He's currently, from a statistical point of view, the 2nd best Urel player in the league. The only other one that is better is Whoopi with 20-2 track record, but no one else comes even close. It's actually quite impressive.
That's eye-opening, actually, because when I think about Last Hope, my immediate mind goes to Dahaka.
Yeah.
Versus being one of the main heroes that if he's able to grab that, it feels like it makes a pretty big impact for Fnatic.
I mean, Method isn't too bad on the hero either. If you look towards Ethereal, he's still at 16 wins and 6 losses, but that is still a far cry away from the impressive stats that Fnatic's Last Hope here has. Still very good though, he's 3rd in the ranking, so Ethereal definitely going to try and get the most out of it now, together with the Diablo frontline that's already super powerful. We even have the Soul Shield taken for Diablo, so that makes Bad Benny a bit safer against any kind of Tracer shenanigans around the Pulse Bomb. That's going to be important here. I can also like tackle a lot more through the Junkrat damage that comes out of those grenades if at any point, especially in the late game, necessary. So let's see how Fnatic deals with this, because I still think that that front line of Method is super, super strong.
I'm curious to see how Fnatic's going to play this battleground. They've been pushing a little bit more towards the idea of cycling around your opponent and finding advantages elsewhere and slowly kind of wear you down until they find a big team fight. That was more prevalent when they showed the Tacit composition. So I want to see how they're going to pull it off here. And that also means how Method's going to try and force the fight. They have the ability to make sure they get the fights that they want, especially with that Maiev and Diablo. Just a matter of, can they catch Fnatic?
I mean, for Fnatic, it's also going to be interesting how Breeze does on Murden, because statistically speaking, Murden is actually one of his weaker frontliners. He has a negative win rate on the hero, 44%, 7 wins, 9 losses for him. If you compare that to his Johanna, where he's 8-1, or compare it to his Diablo, where he's currently sitting at a 5-1, this just doesn't even compare. Now, they changed their playstyle and the coordination recently a lot, and coordination is key when you are trying to set up kills with Murden. And a combo that will show that, if everything works out for them, is Stormbolt into Mine from Junkrat and trying to create an opportunity by isolating a hero. This is one of the plays that we have now seen several times, and a huge part of the idea that you have when you're going for that particular synergy.
They showcased that too with Ana the other day. They have Thrum will go into it, into an Ana sleep dart, and then you make sure that Junkrat can pull somebody into you. Might not be targets you want to pull into you on this one, though, with my Evan Diablo and Urel on that front line. We'll see how they peel that off. Might be more of a way of trying to make sure no one gets nowhere to that back line. Temple spawn now, and Fnatic will attempt to grab the first couple shots in the middle, actually fighting a little bit more than I was expecting to, as Bad Benny comes in for a flank.
Yeah, Fnatic is very brawly right now. They're trying to create opportunities against ADR in particular, but that was a good engage by Bad Benny coming in from the side. Fnatic did not expect that, and Deckard Cain goes down as a result. Great play from Benny.
Yeah. Making his way right in between the two minion waves, so he wasn't spotted until the last second. Spexy didn't even have a chance to get out of that fight, especially with the Fan of Knives being reset there by Maiev.
There's so many reasons why that was an important play, because at that point, Fnatic actually started to establish a lot of mid-map control, where they just were so aggressive in their rotations and with how aggressively they controlled space and tried to get kills, force issues, that Method started to really be a lot more in a passive position. And Bad Benny moving around like this, setting the flank up and then just collapsing onto those targets, that definitely took a little bit the wind out of the sails of Fnatic.
Junkrat, meanwhile, has been taking the time to soak between two waves, trying to make sure he gets towards that level 7, but Method was able to grab a hefty amount of shots on top of those temples. Fnatic finally finds their own footing and takes the rest of the shots at the temple at the top. You'll see a weakened fort because of Method's play there in the early game. Gonna need to be able to watch out for that, as Giants now available for Fnatic on this left side if they want to make sure they keep working on the bottom, as the Bruiser camp was a focus for both teams in the early game.
Both of them very much so on the same experience level right now. But again, once level 10s are in, this is where the entire action really starts. Breeze in trouble on Muradin, and I mean, we talked about this earlier. His Muradin is one of his weaker tanks right now. He gets isolated and taken down. And just to illustrate that, Breeze actually is on Muradin, is less successful than the average Muradin player in HGC Europe.
It's crazy to think about.
It's weird, right? Like, it's one of those heroes where you oftentimes really feel like, okay, he's really strong there. Now, again, we have to put that also into perspective that they are really ramping up now towards the later stages and they have moved away a bit from Muradin. But still, they have played 16 games of him, which isn't really too bad. For a single hero, 16 games over the entire Phase 2 duration is actually quite a decent number of matches played.
Method, after their first couple of picks, they have 2-0 in kills. Find themselves with a nice half-level lead of experience over their opponents. And they're hoping to keep up with that. As they soak out this middle lane, should be seeing Ethereal peel at the top. There he goes. Even picking up the Divine Speed to make sure that he can have those rotations. As we build towards level 10, the next temple will be up in about 25 seconds. We'll see if Fnatic can find a fight they want, or they're just going to give up this entire temple phase. I
mean, already, Method looks very, very different from what we had in the last last weekend in particular, but they're looking a lot stronger here. Finally, we're seeing some aggression out of Fnatic, but that kill isn't even guaranteed. As the Stormbolt comes in, though, Ethereal is shut down this time, and that's a kill for Fnatic. And it's a very, very important one at that. They were really starting to lose a lot of the momentum they were trying to build up in this game.
The life of a top laner. Even sitting next to your fort, if you miss one small movement from your opponent and they show up a 3-4 and dive you, you don't have your Avenging Wrath up, you are going to get picked off. And that happened there as Ethereal loses his life. He'll be back here soon. 10 does connect, though, for Method. And they already have a rotation towards the bottom lane. So if you get that temple. Thing is, actually, Fnatic is beating them there.
Yeah, and also another Stormbolt connecting here for Breeze. Really working on that quest. Already sitting at 11 stacks for now. But yeah, this is going to be an important one. Who's going to get more shots in? Breeze letting himself get pushed back. And now they're just waiting for last hope to be in. Urel is also on her way, and this is really the moment where we have Bad Benny with the engage again, trying to go in deep here. Last hope with the jet propulsion, misses out on it. Containment this comes out, but also Bunker is still available.
The Riptire, to make sure they can't follow up on last hope, allows for Fnatic to back up with all 5 safely. Breeze needs to heal up, but he has that third win, so that'll proc soon. Method, after their opening of the fight, can buy some time to grab this temple, but they're going to have to be ready because Fnatic is ready to come back in.
Yeah, this fight oftentimes sets up who gets the lead in this. Already the bomb on Cursor and barely gets out there. Concussion Grenade actually helping him in this case. Apocalypse combo, Bunker on the ground, and barely the escape that we're seeing from Mane. He's able to get away for now, and all of a sudden Method is in trouble. Urel popping the ult here, and Ethereum moves out with the Divine Steed, but they are bruised and battered as they are retreating. Fnatic reclaims the control of the temple.
Beautiful teamwork there for Fnatic. The bunker being dropped down, a potion waiting for mana as it came out from that top left corner, able to keep Fnatic alive. Back and forth between both these teammates. In fact, looking over to Method, containment disc is actually up again for my Ev. And knowing this, Method steps up and grabs some of the point. Nick is the next target for Fnatic. He takes a hit, but Curson provides the heals.
Containment disc comes out as we see they engage through Blaze. He tries to go in deep for this one. No bunker for him now. And again, the attempt to escape, but Bad Benny is interrupting him and takes him down. Blaze eliminated, and that is 3 kills against 1 in favor of Method over the duration of this game. Gives them the control over the last few shots on the temple and a lead in experience that they are now trying to translate over into another fort being eliminated.
Already though, game 1 is showing that both teams have brought their A game. That fight was 45 seconds long. 3 times we could have had someone picked off, but being in a position both teams were able to save each other. Eventually, we had Blaze go a little too far out and get picked off.
One of those situations, Whitemane was actually not quite about to fall, but Mena was trying to get a concussion grenade in to just push her back into the team. But it was a slight misstep, slight mistiming, and it resulted in Whitemane actually being saved by the grenade. Didn't quite work out, and then Fnatic losing Blaze, of course, tipped the favors of this fight in favor of Method. But when you look at the structural integrity of both teams, we have both of them losing a fort, and experience is still very similar. But you can definitely tell that this is a very different Method they came out to play today than what happened last weekend when they were struggling against the bottom of the standings.
Bit of a change up here for Diablo at level 7. I don't know if we saw that coming in here as he moves into Malevolence, looking for the additional damage with that spell damage. Also staring up to two charges here. Should be able to work in those auto attacks, helping focus down one target. Looks like he might just need those extra auto attacks and extra damage, as we have seen how close these fights have been.
Especially that front line is just so difficult to break through. I can already tell you that there's one team that is watching this and they're not too happy with what they are seeing right now, and that's Fnatic Gaming. They're still going up against Method and against Leftovers, and I guess with the performance from last weekend, they thought that Method might be a team that they can take down to not make sure they don't go through the Crucible here. But with this Method team all of a sudden really stepping it up compared to what we saw last weekend, it's starting to become a little bit more tricky for them. So definitely a bit of a warning sign here. Next week is going to be super, super scary for so many teams that are trying to either make it out of the Crucible or set themselves up for the playoffs. But this match itself is already everything that I was hoping for. Very close game, number 1.
Especially on Sky Temple. Typically by now you've seen somebody pull ahead, someone starting to fight behind, but both of them being neck and neck. Fnatic starts a bit of a fight here in the middle, but they're just trying to catch the attention of Method as Blaze seeps his way to the bottom lane and grabs the temple. But the same can be said for Method, as they have Urel on the top.
Big powerful talents coming in now on level 13. The Ancient Blessing of Deckard Cain is of course always just absolutely fantastic. In addition to that, you have the extra healing and sustain for Muradin. Finally, that synergy with the Thunderburn on level 1 with healing static. But then you look over to Method and you immediately see that Harsh Discipline. And that alone is such a great tool to add even more CC onto any combo that Method is going to try and execute here. So it's really up to Curse now to follow up on these engages that we oftentimes see through Maiev with the containment disc here, and of course Benny, who always looks for that flank.
Yeah, I have to be fully aware of what exactly Diablo and Maiev are trying to pull off, because if you can find that Harsh Discipline, usually can lock down a target and force out at least a bunker from your opposing team to keep them alive. If they don't go that route, you can pick them off. Now we do have a slight lead for Method, as they have started to grab some experience here, even get to a point where feeling confident on grabbing this Night Camp. They charge here at the top left, but Breeze, he's ready to push on in and coming from behind. He'll keep his eye on top of Nick and Cursor.
Yeah, not so sure if that was really the way to fight here. Lornado comes out, Nick gets pushed through, Night Camp is taken. Wanna see him try to get even more out of it. Here comes the Riptire. Immediate containment disc against Blaze. Bit of damage pushed out, another Stormbolt connects. That puts Breeze onto 22 stacks.
Fnatic taking that fight, able to take away their Bruiser camp at the top left. We'll have that pushing on it, which can move its way towards the keep. Main issue for them, though, is they are 3/4 level behind in experience. That's Method's about to get level 16, and Method immediately runs to the bottom part of the map.
Yeah.
They can look at the Giants, take those, and if Fnatic has 2 or 3 people out of position, maybe pushing a little bit too far in that night camp, boss play suddenly becomes an option too.
I mean, the big advantage of Method is that they already took down more structures than Fnatic did. With all the forts eliminated, that's where their lead in experience stems from, and it also gives them a better outlook towards the late stage of the game, and when those objectives become even more important to attack the inner circle, to attack those keeps. Attempt to go for Nick, but it was all a ruse since we are having Diablo waiting in the shadows and trying to go in directly. The Lornado creating quite a bit of space though, and Fnatic can easily move out of harm's way. With Deckard Cain also going to have that heroic ability up again for the next temple.
It's moments like that where I kind of wonder about the stats for Muradin for Breeze, because he sees a moment, he sees Maiev in the top lane. Even though they're 15 to 16, he's like, okay, I can maybe jump in here and get that Stormbolt. Method, of course, was equipped and ready to go for there, but those type of moments are what you need to be a good Muradin player.
No, Breeze definitely is can be very aggressive. He has also his own personal style on some of the heroes. You can talk about Muradin, for example, his level 1. It's a tiny example, it's maybe not the most most lavish one, but we have him with Third Wind again. It's just catering towards his playstyle. But he gets attacked heavily, has to pop the Avatar. We have again Benny going in deep, but he gets locked down now by this seal on Deckard. The Lornado comes in, that's too isolated. Containment Disc is trying to prevent at least some damage, but Benny's still not quite out of this. And Ethereal jumped in deep, might have to pop his own ult here, and indeed does. But Urel is about to fall. The counter kill against Deckard Cain though. Riptire comes out. They are fighting tooth and nail here, and Method is low.
Nick able to put Shrimpy low in health. The Menace trying to find these kills. He has to land these grenades. Can he get them all? Comes in for the mine, misses it as Nick dodges. The harsh discipline comes on the side too. Looking over to the left though, Bad Benny caught in a weird location as he's trying to fight against Breeze and crew. The heals, are they enough? Oh my golly, they are, as Bad Benny escapes.
Wow, they actually get away. It's only a 1-for-1 kill trade in this big fight here. But now we have at least Fnatic in a position where they have the better self-sustain. So they get the access to the objective. It's a one big win for them. They don't get as many kills as they want.
Yeah.
But they get the control of the objective. Method is looking at the boss on the other hand, but we are going to see Junkrat drop a few grenades here any second. They want to know what's going on here. Yeah. And they see it. And Method is not going to be able to get this boss, at least not for free.
There's no way. The control for Junkrat. Blaze can go at any point with the Jet Propulsion if he rotates down from the top lane. Lornado, yeah. There's too much. Method, the moment they see the grenades, back up, play safe.
Yeah, but they're forced at least for now. Okay, the last 2 shots have been taken. Blaze is pushing the top lane out. They can't fight down here. Fnatic can't really fight. Oh, nice dodge. Containment Disc comes out, and also Diablo Breeze with a perfectly timed jump dodges everything.
Even getting Stoneform at 16. I thought it was maybe a Dwarf Toss coming in here to make sure to help out with those retreats, but he is all about survival.
I mean, with the Diablo aggression that we see so far and him trying to, like, the extra damage, getting knocked into walls the entire time, you can see how much work Benny can do here, and he wants to have that sustain. Pop Muradin's Avatar first, then activate Stoneform, get the extra health, get the healing out. Even experience right now. Kill count a bit in favor of Method. This is a close one.
And now we begin the deadly game of chicken around the boss. Who wants to check the bushes? Who wants to start the boss? Bad Benny goes in for a combo as he tries to buy time for his team, the Giants, but that takes Fnatic and puts them in a position where they want to engage. Here comes the Lornado, and they get decent damage on that front line. But with Curson providing the heals, they're just fine.
It's just such a tanky frontline for Method. It's really difficult for Fnatic to get kills here, and you can tell. And that's a big problem. If you try and unload all your resources on Urel or Diablo, but you do not get the kill, and all of a sudden Method is just healthy enough to turn the fight against you, and Fnatic is in trouble. And that's what Method is waiting for here. But this is why Diablo and Urel are so confident at the front. Benny and Ethereal know perfectly well that if they sustain through that fight, and then we have the engage with Maiev, a good containment disc and a tether, there's so many opportunities for Method to then get that kill and take Fnatic down. It's really on Razor's edge here what we are seeing. Camps are taken again, and we're talking about a double temple. And of course, boss is also still available.
Yep. Effectively 3 major objectives currently on the field with those 2 temples spawning in that boss being there. Diablo, Bad Benny here, is aware of said boss at the bottom. Sitting in the bushes, making sure in case anyone Fnatic did rotate over, he can maybe try and find a quick pick, continue to build on his quest. He needs 2 more stacks, looks like, on his level 13, and then he will complete that extra 120% damage against the walls. Gonna be a combo on top of Breeze as he goes down to half health.
Yeah, and Benny actually completes his quest island.
There it is.
He's done now with his level 13. So that's a lot of additional damage coming in now too. He gets a double collision through that play with dominance here. but the temple is taken a bit sooner towards the middle. So Fnatic actually in the situation now has a chance to rotate to the top. One of the reasons why Method is so willing to let this happen is that they are closer to level 20. So they're currently considering, okay, can we delay this a bit, get level 20, and then play around that?
And wave manipulations in their favor. They have a Night Camp at the top, and they have a big wave of minions on the bottom, which will seep their way into the forts.
Boss play at the bottom. Fnatic is going for it. They're having 2 here in the middle. Method hasn't sniffed it out yet, but they will soon. They must be wondering, where is the rest of this team? Where are the others? Breeze wants to go out. There's only 2. Breeze about to move back, gets the extra armor. They buy a bit of time for the cooldown to be ready. Breeze, can he jump out? No, he gets stopped and he falls. The boss, on the other hand, will go over to Fnatic.
And that means, with the boss pushing in the bottom lane, Fnatic can try to Hearthstone here and try to defend that top lane, which is moving in towards their keep.
Method trying to end? They will go for keep. Can they push farther than that?
I think so. You have the Night Camp here. That has to be cleared up first. You have Junkrat for mana. He'd be able to hold this.
They're trying to go for it. There's no 20 yet for Fnatic. They want to play around that Storm Talent. Method with the hyper-aggression. Keep in mind that boss is still up. It will get the bottom keep, or at least it should 18 minutes in. Minion wave is down. And now we're seeing them just try and go for the shields. I don't know if Method can really pull this off.
Yeah, if you can't get Nick on top of that core, you need to back up here. And Nick is being stopped in the back line. He has yet to be able to go into Worgen form. Finally, Smexy is grabbed, but the big Jet Propulsion from Last Hope might be able to save his life. No! Smexy is picked before he gets to the Hearthstone, but Diablo, he answers as he gets picked.
Diablo is down. It's a kill for a kill here, and the 20 is there for Fnatic. The shields are only scratched, and all of a sudden they're starting to try and turn this whole thing around. The boss at the bot lane is doing some work. Very unlikely that it gets the keep, though. It puts the damage on for sure, but it doesn't really look like Fnatic is going to get the keep for a keep trade here.
With Diablo in the bottom lane, Fnatic can start to move up towards the top. They have to be careful. They don't have their healer. They don't have any potions down either.
Close call down here.
They can get a couple of these shots off. No keeps lost for Method. One is bruised to the south.
Actually, all 3 of them have already taken damage. Like, all 3 keeps. The problem is they haven't lost any of yet. It's great for them. It's bad for Fnatic.
Yeah.
Smexy was so close to escaping, by the way. It was just like half a centimeter away from going into the Nexus area here, where he can't be followed and can't be taken down. I like the idea that Fnatic had by buying the time with Blaze and Muradin in the middle and getting the boss. It was a nice play, but at some point, Method just called the bluff and went in and realized nobody was helping out here. Of course, at the same time now, Breeze doesn't fall there. It's a massive win for Fnatic. But as it stands, we're having Method in a bit of an advantageous position through that destructive keep at the top.
It's a matter of how many temples will be spawning on the next phase here. Boss will be a while before we have it back in play, so they can focus on just playing the macro game here. 2 minutes, no, 3 minutes for that boss to come on back. You're going to see both teams try to fight for wave control, which again is a bit of an issue for Fnatic, with Method having catapults pushing in the top lane.
It's a double temple that comes into play now. And you want to have that bottom temple if you're Fnatic so that you get the insta-keep. Nice attack against Tracer, and she's down. No chance for Shrimpy to do anything here, and Method forces the fight. This is their chance to win that game. If they get another kill, they have an open alley towards the core. But we see Fnatic retreating again. And again, it comes all down to Benny all the time. Benny with another move where he just sees an opportunity, slams Tracer into the wall, flips him over, gets the reset, gets the second stun in, and Greymane says, all right, boys, I got this. Jumps in, delivers the final blow, goes for the throat, rips them apart, and that's another kill. 7 kills against 3. Great position for Method.
Wonderful position for them. No temple spawning, though. So Fnatic, if they can defend these pushes, at least not lose too much infrastructure, they'll have one more chance, but they cannot afford another mistake like that.
From Fnatic's perspective, if you lose a hero, that's the time to lose the hero.
Yeah.
At least it doesn't impact the objective. Method gains map control. Method gains some time. They can take down some of the structures, which make those temples now even more dangerous. But you haven't lost a keep. You don't lose another objective, so you can play around Tracer again. It's going to come down to another team fight potentially.
All right, Fnatic has all 5 now. They've gotten the bottom lane cleared up slightly. There is a giant low on health, but the minions should be able to get there. They have to get to this temple and try to establish space. They jump in and they see a Diablo. Diablo, by the way, looking over to his souls. Remember, we did have him die earlier. He's at 49, so slightly tanky, but manageable.
All right, the one in the middle, the keep, very likely to drop as Fnatic takes that temple. But bot lane is also a concern here now for Fnatic. First keep down, shots are centering up to the top. That could be a double keep for sure.
Let's see if they get that thing here. Urel, Diablo, and Greymane are in position to come in for a flank. If they decide.
It could be a triple keep, to be honest. I think it's going to be 3 keeps. They're going to get all 3. I think it's enough shots. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Wow.
Fnatic is all of a sudden ahead. I don't think that the bottom temple, can it eliminate the middle keep of Fnatic? We might actually be looking at a game where we don't have a single keep left.
Here we come, the 4 shots. Oh, no, there's more on the bottom 2. Yep, this is definitely it. Wow. Core on core action, that's it.
And that means that another temple taken by any of these teams would end the game. All right. I mean, we have an equilibrium.
Yeah.
Catapults on both sides, but if one of these waves pushes through, 22 minutes in, catapults are starting to hurt. It's Winion's time.
And the boss about to spawn too. Which makes it even more fun for both these teams.
It's still rough, I think, for Method when it comes to boss fights. Now, it's not like they don't have any tools. Ardent Defender gives sustain, Apocalypse is great for that play, and you have Scarlet Aegis as well.
No.
But I'm worried about Lonado, about the Riptire, Bunker. There's so much that Fnatic has to control space. The Concussion Grenade alone is great.
Containment disc is the big one there. If Fnatic makes a mistake and doesn't have 2 jumping onto the bob, you get a containment disc there, you can try to steal it away. There's Giants.
Ethereal.
And Ethereal's on the back left.
Ethereal jumps out barely, but that fight is still ongoing, and Fnatic steals the camp away. Here comes the Riptire, going for Yorel again, not taking her down, but definitely pushing her out of the fight. Hellgate had to be used by Bad Benny, and it's not quite over yet. Breeze was looking for another Stormbolt here. Massive amount of tools used by both of the teams here. Ardent Defender in particular, such a brutal cooldown to be burned in that skirmish. And Fnatic is still looking for the kill. They're looking for Diablo. They're looking for Benny, and they find him.
Method had to go over and check to see if the boss was being grabbed. So Bad Benny steps in the bush, but Euro wasn't even there. And Fnatic gets a kill as they set up a trap. That's a second one too. And we're looking for a third. Jet Propulsion comes in straight on top of Nick. Bunker uses for good measure. Nick trying to dash his way on out, but he doesn't have enough resources. That's going to be 3 as Fnatic grabs a 4th kill too with ADRD dropped in the vault. Only Yorel is alive, but Fnatic has done it. They are able to push to the bottom lane and start looking at a core.
Fnatic wins game number 1. Great play from Method throughout the important fight towards the end. That's the one where Fnatic forces the perfect battle, goes in and just pulls so many cooldowns, and then as Bad Benny has to check the bush again, Fnatic is ready. They blow him up. Diablo doesn't have the souls. He's only at 61. He dies down for the count. They clean house, and they go for a victory in the first game. Fnatic with a win.
Fnatic with the win. A good trap there too. You look over to the composition here for Method, and you don't have very many tools for checking bushes. Sure, you have a Fire Stomp here and there, but you have to get over there. You're on a timer if your opponents have started the boss. That's why Bad Benny did step up into that area. Fnatic finds a win, but this was a close game number 1.
It was a really close game, and Method looked better for the better part of it. So right now,